that now we see
one
him.
is Mr. Extra from Team Extra, and we also have who do we have here?
No Savets, extra vets.
Mr. Lowe
Cerberus.
and Kareem. They know you guys by your names at this point, ironically enough. All right, so this is
Yeah, that's true.
we're doing a tier list video, right, for hand traps that are good post Cyberstorm access. Since basically that is the next set that they've already had sneaks for it. It's technically I'm pretty sure legal on the 4th or 5th.
No,
Becomes legal the
it's legal like next Friday,
Okay.
but this coming Friday. But a lot of stores, whether they say it out loud or not,
Yeah,
usually
they're
allow
telling
it right after the sneak.
All right.
Our local allows it right after the sneak.
Yeah, our local sweaty. But so we're gonna go over the we're doing hand traps where they sit post Cyberstorm access or SIAC. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this, I suppose. Very first one we got up on the chopping block is Ash Blossom. All right. So
I don't know how I don't know how you put this anything other than top or very good. It's Ash Blossom. It's always good.
It's got to be top.
Honestly, I want to say very good because I feel like it has fallen compared to other hand traps.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I would say she's not necessarily the best hand trap right now, but she's never not good.
The reason why I would keep her in top tier myself is every single deck has something they do that Ash
Ashable.
stops. Every deck.
Not to mention there's, Ash is the rogue deck killer. Like, it's just that simple, and everybody knows it.
Plus,
you... Go ahead.
Plus, Ashing Branded Fusion is Ashing Branded Fusion.
Well, yeah, but even beyond, like, the branded fusion thing, just there's so many rogue decks that lose to a well-timed Ash.
Yeah. I agree on that. I agree. So, I feel like I'm missing hand traps that we would talk about initially on this, but I got the main ones that I know see play. Because I know the Phantasmal Dragon is not on here, but that's because...
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be those obscure ones that sit in some deck because it makes more sense than, this one or that one.
Yeah, the reason why it's not on the list is it just doesn't see play.
Well, that's true.
Like,
yeah, and Phantasme specifically, yes.
Yeah, that's
the joke.
That's
the joke to me is that, like, I specifically heard people talking about Phantasme at the regional.
That's actually hilarious.
But I appreciate your point.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and go to the next one. We have Ghostbell and Haunted Mansion. Now, this one's going to be a very debatable one, actually. So I wouldn't call it top tier for post SIAC. My opinion would be very good. What's your opinion, Kareem?
My opinion is top tier.
What about you, Lo?
And my reason for that, it's okay.
No, Kareem. Reason first, you're good.
Alright, my reason is because it stops the expulsion thing from happening. It stops a lot of graveyard shenanigans because, one, I hate expulsion when they gimmick puppet you, or for low standards, Ito locks you for some magical reason. But yeah, it's not very fun at all, in my opinion.
Alright, Lo, what's your take on Ghostbell?
It's hard to say. There's not a whole lot of graveyard decks right now. As I say that, being the guy that's playing branded and uses the graveyard like no other. But, Cash doesn't really play into the graveyard nearly that much, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's good to have around, but I would side deck it before I'd main deck it.
Personally, for my own choice here, I would either put it sideworthy or very good. I think for something like this, for SIAC, we're gonna probably do sideworthy because with super heavy samurai running around, this isn't gonna stop them.
While we're talking about hand traps that hit the graveyard, and I know this may not be like the most obvious thought process for a hand trap, but Also in a format where you've got several decks running around that run locks by summoning a goofy ass monster.
Yeah.
DD Crow.
I completely forgot.
Like DD
about
Crow messes up. DD Crow messes up the Newman lock. If you don't respect the DD Crow in Branded, it can. Well, if you don't respect the removal in Branded, period, it can mess up the expulsion lock.
We probably could have put Bestials in this too, actually.
Because I mean, for people that don't already know the interaction, if I flip up expulsion and one of my targets is in the graveyard, and you remove that target, even though I'm allowed to use the banished pile, I still the expulsion no longer works.
Yeah.
Because the original target is not where it was when it started type deal. So a well-timed DD Crow can be the end of the expulsion lock. But, different can of worms, but like we were talking about earlier, I'm about to start running multiple expulsions just because the card's good, even if you're not going for lockdowns.
That's it's very, very sweaty. Now, let's move on to this one. Cherries. I feel like this one's got.
Is Cherries the one that gives you life points?
No, Cherries is the one that you
ones
reveal a extra deck monster.
Yeah.
And then you banish all your opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't it only for like a turn?
No.
No, you do it and then you just rip their whatever you reveal out of their extra deck.
For example, like for the mirror match with Pearly, I'll go Ghost Reaper, reveal Nor, and banish all their Nors from their extra deck.
Oh, that's super, not sketchy, situational.
Yeah,
I think it's not enough, personally.
Not enough or just straight out bad for this format.
That's okay if you've got some really specific target in the extra deck that like this screws me up and I need to make sure it's not there.
Yeah.
But that would have been really good in an era where like DPE was in every effing deck or Dragoon was in every deck.
Yeah, I agree. That one was pretty easy to talk about, to be honest. So, what about Ghost Mourner?
It's a time card, side worthy.
I think Ghost Mourner is bad and always has been bad.
Oh,
I think there's a reason that it sees almost no play.
Man, I got the wrong one. Wait. I'm talking about Spooky Dogwood.
Yeah, no,
Ghost Mourner? Yeah,
Ghost Mourner is the only reason. The thing that makes Ghost Mourner bad is that negating the effect and putting the burn on there is neat, but most of the time it's not. You can't time it in a consequential enough way to matter.
Yeah, because your opponent has to, if I recall, special summon a monster, then you get to do it.
Let me bring it up real quick.
No,
let me bring up the exact text.
Summon a monster, and that's basically effect Veiler.
I mean, it'll only take me a second. I'll bring it up on TCG real quick.
Yeah, you're good.
Honestly, I do like Ghost Mourner personally because you can use them on either turn. It's not like only on your opponent's turn.
Well, I mean, very few of the hand traps are only on Veiler's only your turn, I think, or the opponent's turn.
Yeah, it's only the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Mourner
during their main phase. So they special summon
myself.
Okay, if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters face up except during the damage step, you can discard this card, target one of those face up monsters, negate its effect until the end of the turn. Also, if that monster leaves the field, its controller takes damage equal to its original attack. Meh.
I would say it's not worthy, personally. I don't think it's bad, but I just think it's just not worthy to just have around right now.
Not enough is what you're looking at.
Yeah,
she's not consequential enough.
Yeah, she's kind of.
What are you going to do? Turn off their Barone negate till the end of the turn, and then by the time it matters that you're able to do anything, it's back on.
Yeah, they're just going in the Cyberstorm access. I don't see this thing really slowing anyone down.
Again, this is another one where it's really good against rogue decks.
Yeah.
This thing was super disruptive to stuff like Dynamorphia, where I had to be able to resolve certain effects.
Yeah, so it's good for rogue, but that's about it.
If you're at a local with a bunch of rogue decks, this thing's probably good. If you're at a local where you're playing the same 3 or 4 decks, not so much unless it's 3 or 4 bad decks.
Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We have Ghost Ogre for Cyberstorm access. I'm gonna say top tier. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would not.
Yeah, because
I would say sideboard it or mainboard it, either or here.
I would say very good because once again, if it has to be sent to the graveyard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Ghost Ogre's what do you call it, fate will be tied to the ban list in that, like, if cash doesn't get hit properly and it stays around, Ghost Ogre goes down in how good it is because there's so much cash running around.
Yeah.
If
So
you get away from cash and you're not playing with macro decks anymore, Ogre's way better.
So here's my thing. If cash is cash gets hit, I would say top tier, hand trap. But however, cash does not get hit, I would say side worthy. Because the only thing you're really hitting if you're
enough at that point. All right.
yeah.
What about Dogwood?
This is the one that gave life points, right?
Yeah, this is the time.
I deck this thing for time and for nothing else.
Side worthy.
Sideworthy, yeah, that one's not much to talk about. Woo! Alright. Imperm.
Imperm is Imperm.
It's top tier. Hands down.
tier.
Yeah.
It's always good.
It's every format it's amazing, it does not fucking matter. It's just such a good card.
It falls in and out of favor, but it's always good.
Alright. I think we all know the answer to this one.
What?
Droll.
Oh, sorry.
Very good. Top tier.
Yeah, I
wanna
would agree.
say top
Droll
tier
is.
for going into Cyberstorm Access, honestly. It's good against everything but branded, basically.
It's even good against branded. It's just
To an
branded
ex-
can play through it.
Yeah, to an extent, it doesn't stop you, but for supers,
Yeah, it's
super
not.
heavy-
It doesn't whiff my turn, but it makes you have to think it through a little harder.
super heavy
Yeah.
samurai is gonna. I know Droll trash is that strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Trash is Sprite. Trash is Cash.
Oh, go ahead.
Just
I'll get it on the way back.
All right, so Nibiru.
Oh.
Honestly, from my point of view, I think the beer will be a very good in this show because I mean, yeah, sure, it hits. You can hit cash. You can hit you can hit cash sometimes. You can hit. It's gonna hit super heavy samurai every time. But
This is another one that's tied to like what decks are around more so than the others, because like if all of the decks that are floating around can put up a negate before 5 summons, Nib just doesn't see play. He's dog shit. But if they can't, you know, there you go. Yeah, I agree with that.
Sideworthy.
yeah,
Because Nib still gets people, man. Nib still gets people. All right. Effect
I'll be right back.
Veiler. I have a stupid hot take for Effect Veiler, by the way.
Valor. I think it's just not enough.
Bad.
Yeah, that's valid too.
Because honestly, I would actually do this before anything, but I mean, these both could be down here.
Yeah. Because especially with Valor, it has to be during the main phase,
Mm-hmm.
which
Situational.
for example, you're not hitting Pearly with it because one, they're going to have either A, the field spell, or B, they're going to literally do all their stuff in the draw phase so they don't get drooled or anything else.
Yeah.
So
I agree though. The main phase specifically thing is why it's bad. Alright, you ready to
it has to be sent
do Shifter?
to the grave.
Shifter right now for me, because going in the Cyberstorm Access, we're gonna see a bunch of synchro decks, fucking pile decks, bunch of bullshit. My preference is, I think it's gonna be very good.
Sorry, I'm back.
We're talking about Shifter. I think Shifter's just.
I
gonna
would
be
say
very good.
sideworthy.
Or sideworthy, either or.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Shifters.
We're talking about going into this format when we're about to see pile decks again, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go side, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we have
Yeah, so worthy.
one more to talk about. This one should be
Oh,
a good
gamma,
one.
gamma, 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 gamma.
Gamma's always good.
Top tier, and I'll give reason. Gamma's top tier, and I'll explain why, in my
All
opinion.
right. Let's hear yours for your opinion first on if it should be top tier.
I believe Gamma is top tier just because of Excel Dragon. Hands down, it's for especially since we're going into a synchro format. Punishing your opponent for like ashing your like spell card to search something of any kind is just the best thing. Then you just go to Cell Dragon, especially with a level 2 Trinity, boom, Baron negate before 5 summons.
Yeah, he's got a point.
It's a Baron negate for free. It's a very valid, and I think Gamma's either very good or just outright top tier. Even though I'm not using it right now, but I intend on doing so eventually. Well, is there any special mentions on weird hand traps that I forgot that we haven't already talked about before we decide to wrap this up?
Not that I can think of.
Fader, you know,
Battle
we gotta
Faders.
put Battle Fader.
Stop.
Come on. No, the only deck that uses Battle Fader is Exodia and Grand Magia. Oh,
At that point, you might as well
yeah.
put like Karibo on the list for the token hand trap.
I mean, I could have put Token Collector too, but I've seen that.
No, it's a joke that
Yeah.
Karibo is the original hand trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Even though if we did put Token Collector, I think Token Collector would need that.
I don't think Token Collector would be worth anything right now.
Token Collector is not worth nothing right now.
Circle. One-hit circle.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you can't play Token Collector on their turn, and 9 times out of 10, if the Sword Soul token is not staying on the field long enough to matter.
Yeah, but Apple Dragon and everything being a thing, it might come up a little bit, but I doubt it's going to get back in rotation for this format.
No, I wouldn't count on it.
But that being said, I believe that's everything we got for you guys. We'll try to do I think we're doing a tier list video later this week for board breakers for Cyberstorm Access. Do y'all have anything else you want to say before I go ahead and cut this off?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't either.
Alright, well then I guess we're gonna cut it off. Let's go.